Hi, everyone. I'm Justin here from Trellis, and today we have Grace Christian School with us. And there are four amazing individuals on the call with us today. We have Michelle Bandy, who's the Director of Community Advancement. You want to give a wave?
Hi
There
everyone.
there we go. We have Lauren Williams, who is the Advancement and Database Administrator. And beside her, we have Margaret Manuth, the Assistant Director of Community Advancement. And last but certainly not least, we have Megan Olson, the amazing Event Coordinator. So we have four of them today to tell us how amazing Trellis was for them. And I would love to kick it off with Michelle. Michelle has had a lot of experience with many different platforms and has seen these from a higher level. And I would love to kick it off with your experience from where you started with your event to now choosing Trellis.
So yeah, back in my journey, probably about 12 years ago, was my very first auction. We were using a different platform and it was very antiquated and didn't know any better, but we just had some great events, but it took the back end as far as bookkeeping and accounting and records. It took them so long to input the information and there was a lot of different challenges, but because there was a lot of things to do, we really never kind of, sought another software program. So we did that for probably about another 10 years until we switched over to Blackbaud, Razor's Edge, and Lauren here, she came up with Trellis because it integrates with Razor's Edge. And so we finished up with our former software. And again, it was a hard process for our back-end office to process the gifts. It was somewhat functional for us on the front end. Trellis, it was just much more donor-friendly and user-friendly. And it was just beautiful graphics and just easy to use. And it allowed us to really use the system to make it easy to add add-ins and Diamond Deluxe tickets and things like that. So we really had a great experience. Your onboarding team was amazing. Rachel, she was just really great to work with us and answer our questions. And if we had questions or if we had suggestions based on some of the things that we really liked from the former system, Trellis was really open to listening to the input that we had. And I'm hoping that those inputs and those suggestions that we've given are some things that the tech team will be able to take and hopefully implement in the future of Trellis.
Amazing. Thank you, Michelle. And I just had a question because I know you were more high level. You weren't in Trellis as much, but you probably heard from your donors. So I'm curious, how did the parents and maybe grandparents find the platform?
I think it was much more user friendly. We had a lot less issues as far as transactions and questions. Getting, credit card information is always going to be key for us at the entry point of sale. And then I think our first time using it this year, our team was learning it. But I think as far as just onboarding on our end of it, it was much easier than the former system that we were using. I think everybody loved the graphics. The auction had beautiful pictures. It was easy to upload. It was just a great system, a great platform to use.
Amazing. And did you hit your goals?
We exceeded our goals. So last year we raised $309,000 between our auction and gala. And this year we crushed it and we raised over $466,000.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear that. 50%.
50% increase over last year.
Wow. And I know most of that is your team, your community, the hard work. If there was one or two things that you think Trellis helped to really push that 50% higher, what would that have been?
I would say being able point of sale, as far as our auction, and I'll even let Lauren talk about that. But as far as paddle raise and recording donor bids, I think it made it really easy at the gala to just go ahead and enter paddle numbers, and then they could upload that information quickly within the Trellis system.
The other thing was daily tracking for tickets. It was a lot easier to be able to watch when people are purchasing tickets, what time, and being able to say this particular day we ran an email campaign or we were in social media or we did something else, and we were able to tie it in and see that day by day performance and see how to adjust our marketing.
That is powerful, right? Once you have the data, you're not babysitting it anymore. You're actually just looking.
Lauren and I are data nerds. We love it. We're data nerds, admittedly and proudly.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for that. I know Lauren's in the middle there. I would love to hear from the Advancement and Database Administrator. What was the experience like before Trellis? Why did you want to switch? And then what was it like after?
I went through the software a few times beforehand. It was just very, like you said, antiquated. It was really hard to use. It was really clunky. When someone bought a ticket, they took their credit card, but they didn't actually charge the card. You had to go in and manually then run all the cards afterwards. And so the first year, like we did it, we didn't even realize that. And we didn't realize the cards weren't charging and it didn't follow up. Like if a card failed, we had to do all manual follow up. And it also, like it took us so long to get the data in and we had to enter it into 3 different places. We had to enter it into the software we're using, then into our donor database, and then into the financial database. It took weeks and weeks. And last year, it took us over 3 weeks just to get the credit cards to charge from the event, just to get the data in and to charge the credit cards. This year, we were able to take that 3 weeks of work and do it in one day, which was absolutely amazing and life-changing. And the systems all talked. Like the data was only entered once and it talked then to Razor's Edge, which then we have coded to talk to Financial Edge. So it literally went into all 3 of our systems with the single point of entry. We just wanted to reconcile everything and then the cards were charged instantaneously. We reconciled the whole event in record time and it was so much easier putting data in and recording. When we did our paddle call last year, that took weeks to organize and get all that in. And this year I had that all in within a couple of hours, like, cause there was that fast data entry tool. And I just went to town with that. And I was recording stuff. We were even recording stuff live at the Gala, which we've never done before. So, I mean, it just saved us so much time and got our data and our numbers in, and we knew our final results so much faster. And it was prettier. And I don't know, I just feel like it was life-changing.
That's so great to hear. If you don't mind kind of summarizing, you said it was 3 weeks to a day to get everything in. And then the paddles race specifically was 2 weeks to hours. Do you mind just talking through that?
Last year, it was recorded on bid sheets from people around the room, which was then transferred to an Excel spreadsheet, which was then compared to the bid sheets. And then the Excel spreadsheet had to be manually entered into the first database and then manually entered into the second database, person by person. And then the cards were charged. And this year, literally, like I had their bidder numbers and I'd set it to like $5,000. And then I would just type in the bidder numbers, 121, 123 of like who was bidding at 5,000. Then you could change it to the 1,000 and enter the bidder numbers. And like, I just kept changing the levels. I had all the levels preset and just typed in the bidder numbers for that. And it just summed up all my data and it talked right to Razor's Edge. It charged the cards. It talked to Financial Edge and it just was so fast. It was unbelievable. Like, we've never been able to do it so fast. And I felt so much more accurate too. Like, I just feel like because we did it so fast and we weren't going from spreadsheet to this, to this, to spreadsheet, I feel like it reduced the amount of errors too. And so far, not even one person has complained of an error. So,
And we had twice as many donors this year, paddle raisers.
That's right. We had twice as many paddle raisers this year and it still was faster and easier. So it was amazing.
Oh, that's incredible to hear. Is there anything else that stood out to you that was different or that you really enjoyed?
It didn't look like Windows 7.
Yeah, exactly. It was modern and it looked professional and modern and not outdated and antiquated. And it just, everything was seamless and the transferring was amazing. And just even like the auction, like after the auction was over, the gifts were in. Last year. Again, I had to manually enter every single auction item after the event and charge the cards. And this year they were charged and in, and it just like the whole auction process was so smooth. And it sent the receipts with, I loved how it was smart enough to take the fair market value that we put in and what the bidder won and take the difference to do a receipt value that, because normally I'm calculating that by hand, which isn't, I mean, it's not hard to calculate, but it's time consuming to do it for 200 auction items. I couldn't believe it when I saw in Razor's Edge that the receipt value was in and correct. And that just was so exciting for me just to have that in and not have to sit and calculate all that.
We had 200 auction items this year and about 90 last year. Is that right, Michelle? So we had twice as many auction items as well as twice as many paddle raises. And the time frame was just like an incision. That's it. And she gets to go on vacation this summer.
Yay.
Hey, where are we going on vacation now?
It was something I just dreaded. And now it's like, it's easy. I went from like, it's efficient. I love to automate and I love to like make things talk to each other. And I feel like we went from completely inefficient to super efficient. And it was amazing. Yeah. I have time back in my life now to go on vacation.
That's awesome. Making data fun. I love to hear that. And with that time, I mean, hopefully you're taking, it sounds like you gained about 5 weeks. So, I mean, hopefully you're getting 5 weeks of vacation. But if you're not getting 5 weeks, what do you think you're going to do with that extra time? I'm just curious, is there other things you're going to do? Like I know Margaret mentioned now she can look at the data for marketing purposes. Is there any other things that you can now do because of this extra time and the data in a fast way?
So now that it's all in Razor's Edge and fast, I'm working on customizing reports in Razor's Edge that we can then use for marketing and just all new reports that like I'd love to have like reports with the push of a button instead of having to like compile everything by hand. So I'm just trying to automate and get us as many custom reports that we can use and then compare like year to year, like how did we do last year to this year and just have like a consistent reporting and automated reports and having the data in Razor's Edge. Some of the data from our old system never even made it to Razor's Edge because it was just so time consuming. And now that I have all the data, I feel like we can report to a whole new level and really even start automating that and making that faster. So I'm just working on automating more things.
Higher quality data.
Yeah.
What does that better quality data and reports do for your cause?
Yeah, I'll answer that. Yeah, so I mean, anytime we can have more data year over year, it gives us better strategy to be able to plan for table setting and just different event statistics and things like that. And we can plan better goal setting, or it just helps for the overall strategy of like goal setting for the year. And if we had a 50% increase of this year, what were those factors? Did we have more paddle raises at a certain amount? What led to that information? We had two people who they both donated 200 and then one person was the winner. So why couldn't the next person raise up? So there's a few little things that we're working through as far as like giving some feedback as like, hey, these are some things that we noticed. It just helps us in our gala planning and auction to maximize fundraising, really.
Amazing. Thank you for that. So Megan was the event coordinator. This is one of your first years, so you didn't have the previous experience, but I'd love to hear when you first saw Trellis, what did you think? And then how did you find the experience? Did you hear from donors, anything like that?
I mean, I will say as an event coordinator, like my job is to make things look pretty, let people have fun, and hopefully things run really smoothly, right? So especially when you're dealing with a large group of people. And I really didn't know what to expect because it was my first year, but I am a event girl and I like things to look pretty. So I was a little scared, but honestly, it was very easy to fit into. I thought that the platform was visually appealing. When you went to click and buy your tickets, it was easy. It looked like the marketing strategy that we had here on campus. And at the event, we could easily put that on Trellis. It was very seamless. So I really enjoyed that part of it. I love hearing Lauren talk because, you know, as a team and working together, everybody wants to be happy with the results, which then in turn makes our event go smoother, right? If everybody's, you know, being productive and the platform is productive, then we can be more productive with all the other million pieces that are coming together throughout the event.
Yeah, you point out such a crucial part that especially event coordinators, they feel it and sometimes they don't voice it. And it's the thing that kills teams is these big events and burnout, right? And if you can find a platform that instead of gives burnout, maybe gives some delight or at least saves time or makes it a little bit easier, then now like you're not pushing this event and everyone's like, oh man, the event's coming up.
Right.
They're like, oh, okay, great. We get to do more reports and we get interesting data and it's integrated into our workflows.
The day of and like the week after, we were joyful about it. We were happy about it. It wasn't a stressful time. So like that was just a really great way to end such a great event. We hit record numbers, but then our team was all happy. We didn't have to deal with all these issues afterwards. So as my role, it just made things a lot easier. It was a great day. And that's the ultimate goal. We want the community to come together and have fun and not feel any angst because of the job that we have to do.
And it sounds like the technology did its job and got out of the way.
Yeah. And I'm excited. Like we have a lot more events coming up this year. I'm really excited to see how that platform is going to work in our other events that we've not been able to use before.
Oh, exciting. That's great. Yeah. And I know that there's a roadmap that I think was just released again of what the things that are coming to, so you can see what new features are on the way. So I would love if whoever wants to take this or multiple people, I'll love to ask. So if you're at a different school and you're considering buying Trellis, what would you tell those people?
I would just really encourage them to, if they have Blackbaud Razor's Edge first and foremost, to really consider Trellis as far as the integration because it was seamless on the back end. Think of all of your team and everyone's role when you consider software. Is it beautiful and pretty? Is it user-friendly to the constituent, first and foremost? Does it work for the marketing team? Is it easy to integrate your marketing plan, your communications, emails? As far as like record keeping, is it seamless for the back end, for the accounting team? Does it meet your budgetary needs for the year? And then also, does it work for fundraising, for add-on sales, for auction? Does the platform help with other events? So I think those, as a director level, I think those are all the things that are important to me when considering a software.
From a marketing standpoint, which is my background, I think consumer trust with the user experience end of it is imperative. You just can't understate it, that when you go to something that looks like it was built on web TV or some outdated platform, you kind of wonder, is your credit card secure? Am I going to be interested in really participating in this auction? Is my data safe here? And when we saw Trellis and the beauty of our auction listings, it was so much better. It just elevated to the nth degree, because I've done 2 auctions with the previous software and I was really embarrassed. I'm like, I've got a background in some of the IT stuff too, to where I built websites, and I'm like, I don't know how to make this thing look pretty. It's like, it was pretty bad. You could just wash up a pig and it still looks like a pig, but the whole platform looked great and made me feel proud that this was something that we could promote, and people wouldn't, is my credit card safe? Is this really a trustworthy site? To that point, the other software that we used for some reason allowed outsiders, sometimes we had to actually turn that off, to bid on our items. And that was really sketchy for us. So we've just been really pleased with the transition to Trellis.
Amazing. Anything on your end, Lauren?
I think if you use Razor's Edge, it's a must. Like, I researched a ton of different companies because Razor's Edge can't do auctions. It has an event module, but it cannot do auctions. So I was on a mission to find something that could do auctions and could talk to Razor's Edge. And this was like my first choice. It was amazing. Like, no other company even came close when I was researching it. And the other thing I was thinking that I forgot to mention too, like, we were even able to check people in at the event. We've never checked people in at the event or known who actually attended. We have so much more data, and just the seamless transition of not having to record your data 3 different times by hand and having everything automated. And like everyone else was saying, it looked professional. If you use Razor's Edge, there's just no other option, in my opinion. Like, it just, the way they talk and integrate is life-changing. And if you want to be efficient and save time and automate your workflow, this is the way to do it. Like, highly recommend it.
How about that?
This has been fantastic. Is there anything else that you didn't get to mention that you would like to before we end this?
We look forward to future events.
Yeah.
Love that. They're coming. They're all coming. Yes, the event calendars are getting fuller, and it's really great to see. People really want those in-person experiences. I think more people are remote and more people want to hang out with others. So glad you're filling that need. And thank you so much for this. That's a wrap.